Well, I really don't know where to start on this one. I really don't. Um, I've said this before, and we covered this fact last week. The fact that Brexiteers do not understand the EU. And this underlines that perfectly. Because Boris Johnson, just last week, in fact, the day after I did that video, even, he comes out and says that he wants EU workers back in our country after spending the last 4 years campaigning against that and then backing an immigration bill that makes it even harder for these people to come and live and work here. You literally just cannot make this up. And this is something else we've said before, but these Brexiteers seem to be in this game of stupid one-upmanship of who can make the most stupid statement. And currently, definitely Boris Johnson is well ahead on that league table, especially with this comment alone. So, during the general election campaign, Johnson criticised the numbers of EU nationals coming to live in the UK, as he promised an immigration proposals which would reduce the number of low-skilled workers here. He told Sky News back then, "You've seen quite a large number of people coming in from a whole of the EU, able to treat the UK as though it's basically part of their own country. And the problem with that is that has been no control at all, and I don't think that it is democratically accountable." Now, as the UK economy struggles, Johnson has used his latest press conference at Downing Street to call for those very EU nationals to return to help with the retail when the retail sector reopens. Answering a question from Italian journalist on EU nationalists, he said, "What I'd like to say to our Italian friends, Italians who want to come back to the UK, come back. Tutti benvenuti." I think that's how you say it. Come back to London or the UK. But you've got quarantine. Everybody's been locked down for a long time. I know it's an improposition, but we've really got to defeat this virus. But we want you back. His comments baffled viewers of the latest press briefing, who noticed his attitudes and remarks from before this. Anil Apabam wrote, "The main Brexit argument during the referendum campaign was one pushed and promoted on social media was, we have too many European workers here." Marina O'Lugan tweeted, "A combination of gibberish and speechlessness, that short-sighted stupidity and pandering to the worst instincts have brought us here." Emma Kennedy posted, "This makes me furious. He spent the entire 2016 campaign telling them to go home. The man who has embraced populism suddenly realises populism is rubbish for the economy." "Oh no, hasn't anyone told Johnson about Brexit?" sighed a Twitter user called Jenny Flower. How it stripped away the rights of EU citizens to live and work freely in the UK, and for some of us to live and work in the EU. Someone should tell him. Another person tweeted, "I can't get over this. 4 years of attacking and vilifying Europeans. Now his tune has changed and it's to Benvenuti. How about a Varfan Kululo PM?" I don't know what that is, that Italian, but I don't speak Italian. And someone else said, "Forgive me if I've got this wrong, but wasn't Brexit about stopping people from the EU working freely here?" asked Ted Smith. Someone else has said, somebody who treated their partner like shit until they were left leaving a wheedling message asking for forgiveness because they don't know how the dishwasher works. Someone else noted. The statistics show the total number of daily. Oh no, that's definitely else. Sorry, I thought I was related to the article, but it's not. This is absolutely ridiculous, completely ridiculous, and all those comments are right. The core argument of Brexit, and many of these Brexiteers like Johnson, was, oh, there's too many Europeans. But of course, when you looked at the migration, even before, um, back in 2016, the vast majority of immigration was not coming from the EU. It's coming from outside the EU. Only 34% actually came from the EU. The rest were outside of the EU. Brexiteers don't like to talk about that because, well, it sort of degrades their argument. Also, we had an absolute free hand to deal with that immigration. There were things uh, actually in the European laws that we could have done to, again, limit and help enforce immigration from the EU, but the government didn't do it. There was also the other side, as we said, the rest of that percentage. The government pretty much had a free hand to do whatever it wanted. It could have, if it wanted to, just say, okay, we're going to stop all immigration except for people in the EU. They could have done that, and the EU would have been fine with it, because it has nothing to do with the EU. So they wouldn't have batted an eyelid about it. Once again, it just goes to show you how convenient an excuse immigration really is when people don't want to really talk about the facts about immigration, how it is important to our economy. And other people who often say, oh, but don't you see they're just exploiting all these these workers to get cheap foreign labour? Well, how about we introduce laws to stop that exploitation? You never hear people who make that argument continue to say that. We know, for example, asylum seekers, their minimum wage is about £5.34. How about we set all minimum wage so that it is exactly the same regardless of people's circumstances? That way, no one gets exploited. But, that's just a weird lefty idea. But,